Hi, everybody. How's it going?
That was lovely.
Yeah. You know who I am, I think, right? Anyways, Chrissy, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me, Nicholas.
Did you have a good weekend?
I had an okay weekend.
It was okay.
I was telling you when I walked in here, if I look awkward today, it's because I dropped a 20-pound medicine ball on my back. Totally fine.
It seems challenging to drop a medicine ball on your back.
You know, it would, but
You have skill.
I did it. I'm special.
Are you surviving?
I'm surviving. I'll live.
You know, you use that Theragun. Mm-hmm. Well, we have a wonderful episode for you today. Some very relatable, a lot of dating, fears of dating.
A lot of gaslighting issues.
Yeah, the boys just...
They're not nice sometimes.
You know, people suck. People suck, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sometimes they don't, but a lot of times they do.
I'm not glad people suck, but I don't know if we would have this show.
That's true. If these guys weren't so terrible, we wouldn't have anything to talk about.
And sometimes, hey, just women can suck too.
Yes, they can.
I've been on
the receiving end
of the shitty committee.
Oh, the shitty committee.
Jonathan
Bennett.
Yeah, he really coined that phrase.
That John's on there.
Well, I think we just get into it. Just a friendly reminder that if you get through your podcast schedule this week, Nick V Talks Trash TV is hot, ready, and available for your consumption.
Yeah.
At any time. I'm just reminding you, people who haven't listened to it, because you're simply just missing out. I don't know what else to tell you. And you've probably went and checked it out and reluctantly, I don't know. You won't regret it. You just have to trust me. You're just going to have to trust me.
There's no Bachelor on ABC this week, so this is how they can get their fix.
There you go. Get your fix.
Get your fix.
Right now. Other than that, we, as always, really appreciate you tuning in. I see you guys posting on your social about the ethnic episodes, sharing with your friends. It means a lot. Certainly appreciate your reviews on iTunes. So thank you. And if there's nothing else, let's get to saving lives.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Great. How are you?
Good. How can I help?
So I have a situation that involves some friends and a new love interest of sorts, and myself, and I would love to get your advice.
Great. How can I help? Great.
So basically I have been talking to someone for the last 2 weeks. We met recently and really hit it off. Everything's been great. And we're in kind of this big shared friend group. I know his friends really well. I just met him. And he's best friends with this couple. Best friends. They quarantined together for 2 months in the beginning of all of this. They all went to college together, so they're really close. And I'm kind of just becoming better friends with everyone. But we all went on a big trip together a few weeks ago. We went camping, and him and I really hit it off. And then everyone else kind of just started sensing that there was something going on between us. But the girl in the couple, she's pretty protective over him. They're very, very close, but in a brotherly, sisterly way. And I never have sensed anything between them because she's been dating her boyfriend for 6 years now. So over the weekend when we were camping, she made a couple comments that were a little bit possessive over him that were kind of directed at how quickly he was moving with me. And she was like, okay, you literally just met 2 days ago. You can calm down. Which I found a little off-putting because her and I are close, but I was like, maybe she's just feeling like she's losing him because he's her best friend and she's really used to a lot of attention from him. Anyways, so we all get back to this city where we live, and this past weekend we celebrated her birthday. So we were all together all day Saturday, really fun. But at the end of the night, I was leaving with him a little early. So everyone else was staying at our friend's place, and I walked out. So me, him, and his roommate were going to leave and go back to his apartment. And I left and walked out with both of them. And then he went back inside to say goodbye to her. And I didn't think anything of it. And came back out, was totally normal. We went back to his apartment, had a fun rest of the night. Super normal, didn't sense anything was off. But the next day, I found out from a few of my friends that they witnessed in the apartment when he went back inside, her and him hugging like really emotionally, like quite an embrace, and then her going in to kiss him. And they kissed, and it wasn't like platonic. It wasn't like a peck or anything. It wasn't on the cheek. It was like a kiss, legitimate. And then they pulled away. She went back in for it a second time. And then they just literally went their separate ways. Like, my friend who was watching the whole thing, like, happened to see it through
the window.
See it. I didn't see it because I was already outside in the lobby, like, waiting for him with his roommate.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I have no context, but she was like, the fact that I saw it so clearly, anyone could have seen it. Like, her boyfriend was sitting outside with us on the patio. Our 4 other friends were outside. Like, it wasn't covert. It wasn't like they did this secretly and they knew that they were in like a hidden area. They really just did it out in the open.
But they think they were alone?
I mean, they were alone inside. They were in the kitchen living room area, so they were totally alone, but like they weren't hidden. And we were there all night, and you can sense that it's like a very open floor plan. You can directly see to the patio, and the patio you can see into the kitchen. And apparently she just went back inside, just acted like nothing had happened. And when he came back out to meet us, he was totally normal, like unfazed. I didn't sense anything. So we're not really sure what to do. We collectively, like, because now 4 of us girls in the group know that this happened, and I'm super interested in the guy still, and we've still been talking every day. Yeah, still, shockingly. She's the one who went for it, so I will say,
okay,
I think it's more on her that she initiated this whole situation, whatever it was.
Well, that's very convenient for you.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
Kissed back.
Yeah, well, he was bombarded by the kiss, and he kissed back. So.
Oh, poor guy. Yeah.
There's that. Poor guy. Beautiful best friend kisses you. Also, he's best friends with her boyfriend of 6 years. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing is definitely sketchy.
What do you think you should do?
I personally don't think I should get involved yet.
Wait, why? You are involved. You want to be involved. You said you like him.
Yeah, well, I'm involved, I guess, indirectly, and now I know.
No. Do you want to? You just said you want to continue to pursue the possibility of something with this guy.
Totally.
All right. So you are involved directly.
This is true.
Not indirectly, not kind of. You're involved because that's what you want. If you were to say to me, I saw this and kind of honestly it changed my whole perspective of this guy, and whatever he's got going on with her, I don't want a part of him, then that's a different conversation. Then you aren't really involved, and so then that's a different conversation. Like, well, I'm friends with these people. Do I get involved and tell them, et cetera, et cetera? But because you want to discover more about this guy and the potential of a relationship with him, then you are involved.
Yes, that's true.
So knowing that you are directly involved, what do you think you should do?
My first instinct was to say something to her and let her know that, because like we are a larger friend group, and now everyone basically besides her boyfriend, and the boy who was kissed, we all know. And because another boyfriend found out, and then I told one of our friends yesterday asking for advice. So now basically most of us who were there and our friends know what happened besides them. And so I was thinking it would maybe be the right move as a friend to go to her first and say, look, this was seen. a lot of people know about it. You may or may not remember this, but like, I want to put it out there that people are talking. We don't want this to get back to your boyfriend. Like, that's not our intention of trying to like rat you out, but like, we should talk about
totally
this.
Disagree with your plan. I was gonna cut you off.
Just cut me off.
Nick's like, I just can't. I have to interject.
Listen, you said that she demonstrated some signs early on before you saw this kiss of some like weird jealousy or kind of controlling over this guy she should just be friends with and be super happy that she's dating someone that she's also friends with. So if you come to her with this information, you really are setting yourself up for her to get defensive, making you seem like the bad guy, gaslighting you, be like, you're just jealous, we're just friends, denying it, going back to him. You're going to lose control if you go back to her first. Again, you're friends with her. Maybe, who knows if you'll be friends with her longer or not, but I don't know where this relationship is going to go. You're 25. I'm not saying you're getting ahead of yourself, but I'm assuming anyone you date at this point in your life and you're serious about like getting to know, you're like, well, I want to see where, maybe if, you're not looking for a fuck buddy, right?
Right. No.
You want to see if you could date him. And then if you want to date him, you want to see if you can go somewhere. So like, treat this early on with knowing that if it does work out, you don't want it to start on bad terms. So he should be the priority right now, right? How he handles it, what his actions are. Don't give him a free pass. You don't know whether he's the victim or not. You don't know a lot of information. You just saw third party him kissing this other girl. Wait, you like to start who kissed who or you're really getting into dangerous water. So listen, if you really want to pursue it with this guy, all you really can do is alone with him in a very non-threatening way, just put it out what you saw. And make yourself vulnerable by saying, listen, I know this can get real messy real fast, but I just want you to know I like you. And I want to see where it goes. And if you don't like me, if you have something going on with her, it's all good, man. But I just want to put myself out there if I haven't yet and let you know and just like no judgment, like what happened with that? Like I saw it and I don't want to I'm not trying to I just like, I do like you. So like, I just don't want to like you more if there's some like unresolved issues with this girl, you know what I'm saying? And like
totally
focus on this relationship with this guy. Don't go up to him and say, don't give him outs. Don't be like, because you want to be prepared to hear any truth. So don't go like, well, I know she kissed you first. So I just, don't. No. Like I
agree.
So-and-so saw you guys kiss. Well, like, and it was like a kiss. And so I don't want to jump to any conclusions. I don't want to make any accusations, but I want to talk to you about it because I like you. So just like shoot me straight. Like I don't want to be involved in this drama. I don't want to go to her and create this. I'm only coming to you because I like you. And if I didn't like you, I honestly would probably just remove myself from this equation because I don't want to be involved in this drama. Does that make sense?
Right. Totally.
And focus on this relationship and treat this relationship like a relationship you really want to give it a real shot. And actually don't be dramatic about the things that don't really involve you and the things that you don't have control over. See what he says. He can say like, I care about her and she kind of caught me off guard and I didn't know what to do. Who knows? I mean, really pay attention to his answer too. Does he get defensive? If he goes back to her, if you tell him and all of a sudden it gets back to her and she comes to you, then you know where his priorities lie. And that is with her, not you, because this is about you and him. This is not about you and her, him and her. Right. I mean, I get him and her, I had this kiss, but like, you want to see how he communicates with you about this, how he handles it. Is he willing to be like, all right, well, how should I handle it? Does he come to you for counsel? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, does he make you feel like he wants to connect with you and get close with you? Or does he insert himself in the drama? Does he throw her under the bus? These are all, it's a really good opportunity to see how he handles this, but make it about you and him. Have class, be a master with Masterclass, people.
Did you make that up yourself, by the way? Because it really works.
I did.
I think it's amazing.
It honestly, it truly is. It's great. Now is the time to try new hobbies. These are things that you can do with a new dating person you're dating. I mean, that'd be fun. What are
that
your
would be
mutual
such a fun
interests?
date.
You take a
Yeah.
masterclass together. It gives you something to talk about.
Oh, what if you did like the cooking with Gordon Ramsay, like on like your own home date? Nick, that was like a really, really good idea.
I mean, I'm just thinking out loud,
Me
and also
gusta.
for yourself. I mean, Usher's on this. When did Usher sign
Yeah,
up
you
for
could teach your
Masterclass?
performance.
I haven't checked that one out yet. I'm going to. Spike Lee, the best are on Masterclass, and you have access to them. It is really cool. I love it. I've been using it well before they were a friend of ours.
Yeah.
I got it for myself and my brother-in-law for Christmas.
I just bought it for a birthday present.
So check it out. It's immersive. It's fun. You can use it on your phone, your computer. You can take it with you anywhere. It's a great thing to digest on planes when you're bored. So much. You'll feel better about yourself, and it's just a lot of fun, and you actually really learn. So I don't know what else to say other than I highly recommend you check it out. Get unlimited access to every masterclass, and as a Viall File listener, you get 50% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/VIALL. That's masterclass.com/VIALL for 15% off of Masterclass. Tony Hawk, Robin Roberts, Ron Finley, Brandon McMillian. Dog training. The dog training one, amazing. It's amazing. Listen, a great time to try to have a baby. You're stuck inside. Let's have those kids.
I mean, baby making. That's what people are doing.
Well, if you're trying to baby make, all the information is great to have.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I'm assuming, that the more you know, trying to have kids it's great.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. These things can get very expensive. Going to a doctor's office, paying your doctor, can get up to thousands of dollars. Modern Fertility is getting you the same information for the very low cost of $159. And if you sign up now, you can get additional $20 off. So it's $139. That's amazing. Yeah. You mail it in, you get your information. They work with you. They're every step along the process. They're there giving you all the knowledge you need.
It's really good. It's really easy to use. They help you every step of the way. There's like a place online that you can go into a community and get all the information, talk to other people who are trying to get pregnant. There's a great support system. And then it can like really jumpstart some conversations with your doctor that helps you.
Well, right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off the test when you go to modernfertility.com/VIALL. So again, that means your test is now $139 instead of the hundreds or thousands it could cost at a doctor's office. Get $20 off your fertility test when you go to modernfertility.com/VIALL. modernfertility.com/VIALL.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think it will be a good moment of judging his character and seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of set your friendship with her aside for the time being.
Yeah.
Because it sounds
because I mean, that's what I care more about, what's up with him, than like what she's doing with her life.
Yeah, and let him know. Be vulnerable. And just give him a chance to like, give him an out, Like, hey, I'm not mad. It's totally cool. If that's what you want, I support you guys. I don't want to keep going down this path if you have something that can get real messy really fast. And maybe like we should like, just kind of, because usually in those situations, unless he's like a total narcissist and like a terrible person, which who knows? I don't know.
Possible.
He probably won't, like a normal person wouldn't want that type of pressure. If he's got shit to deal with her, he might be like, yeah, like, I don't know what that was about, but like, I'm a little confused right now. And yeah, maybe we need to like pump the brakes because I need to figure that shit out. Like that's usually what a normal person would say if he is kind of confused, or he might say, yeah, I don't know, it's fucking weird. And I really do like you. I do like you. And like, and like what I'm saying, when you go to him, don't make it seem like you're trying to get to the bottom of this mystery.
Right.
Just like, hey, I just all emphasize that you like him and that you really want to get on the same page and that you just don't want to come between him and her.
Yeah.
You know, be someone that give him a chance to trust you. You know, like, hey, it's cool, man. I'm not even judging. Like, I understand that there's another guy who's maybe going to get hurt in all this, the boyfriend that you're also friends with, but like right now you need to focus on him and you.
Yeah.
And then
no, you're right.
And see where that goes. Because if you try to like solve all these problems all at once and take care of all these people, it's going to get real messy real fast, and it's just going to turn dramatic and gossipy and you guys.
Yeah, that's like the last thing I want. I want to avoid that for sure.
So give him a chance to like open up to you, trust you, see what he says, give him an out, you know, see if he responds in a way you hope he does, but don't make excuses for him to yourself or to him. You know, he did do something shitty and he is not a victim. He's an adult male. Like, there's a lot of girlfriends I have, if they try to kiss me, I would be like, whoa.
What are you doing?
I don't kiss people I don't want to kiss. You know?
Exactly.
So he is not a victim.
This is true. I need to remember that.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. I have a new plan now. I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't know if that's the right
How long ago did this
that's
happen?
how I feel.
How long ago?
Saturday night.
No. She was like, I need help right away.
Have you hooked up with him? Have you hooked up with him?
Yeah. And we've still been talking every day. He was like texting me this morning. I haven't responded. I'm like, little do you know what I'm doing today.
Be very kind of almost surprisingly cool. And really give him, be like, oh, I can trust this person with exactly how I really feel.
Yeah.
Make him feel
I'll
safe.
provide a safe space.
Yeah. And then you have a good chance of getting the truth from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can do that. I can provide a safe space.
All right. Best of luck.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Things that glow are amazing.
Yes.
Also, drinking water is amazing.
Yes, but things that glow and let you drink water are double amazing.
So combine those two things and you got yourself the Hydrate Spark Steel. People, it's a great water bottle. It's slick. It's fun.
And it's out now.
It's out now. You can order it now. You can take it with you wherever you go, whether it's working out or whether it's in the car. It's very slick. It's safe. It keeps your drinks cold for up to 24 hours.
24 hours.
24 hours. That's insane.
Yeah. Which is really cool.
I can't believe they're doing things like that. More importantly, like I said, hydrating is such a key component to your health, your wellness, your skin.
Yeah. The sexy way to hydrate.
It's great for your immune system. And I always forget unless I'm having my Hydrate Spark.
Yeah.
My consumption rate of water and hydration goes up significantly. And they have this amazing app that reminds you as you see it glows up. If you're listening, trust me, it's glowing.
It's glowing up. The app's really easy to use too. It's easy to download. It tells you everything. You kind of just plug in the information about your bottle. It kind of connects Bluetooth wise. It's amazing. It even knows how when you put the water in, which is kind of weird, but cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's just always cold, which is great.
Yeah.
Anyways, order the Hydrate Spark Steel today, and our listeners will get free U.S. shipping. Go to hydratespark.com/VIALL. Hydrate is spelled with an I, so that's HIDRATE spark.com/VIALL. That's hydratespark.com/VIALL for free U.S. shipping on the new Hydrate Spark Steel bottle today. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Marissa. I'm 27. How are you, Nick?
Good. How are you? How can I help?
I'm good. So basically, I matched with this guy on Hinge a couple months ago. We spent maybe like around 2 months together, going on dates, getting to know each other. It was a lot of fun. Like everything was going great. And
how old is he?
He's 28.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the last time that we hung out was at my house. I decided to invite him over for like a pool party and like introduce him to all my friends and stuff. And he was so excited about it, like so nervous. Like everything was just like going according to like plan, basically. Like there were no really like big red flags or anything. I was just like, we were both excited about like where it was going. And so I introduced him to my friends. It was like a lot of fun. We all had like a good day, whatever. And then toward the end of the day, he was gonna Uber back. So he like called the Uber on his phone, and it was a text message from a girl. Let's call her Olivia, because that was her name. And I didn't read what it said, but I was just like, oh, like, I kind of joked around with it, and I was like, Olivia, like, wants to talk to you, like, you might want to get that, like, it's like 1 a.m, like, she probably needs you.
Okay. So you were passive aggressive a little bit.
100%.
Playfully though.
You're right. So the thing is, like, I wasn't necessarily like upset at a girl texting him, because it was so early on between us that I wasn't like, who is that, blah blah blah. But also, like, it's not fun to see that when he's like at my house, you know. And so
in 2 months, have you had, like, how much do you know about him? Like, his friends, his family?
So he's not from South Florida, so I like didn't meet his family. He hasn't met mine, but I know like his background and stuff. I met some of his friends. He like introduced me to some people, even like through FaceTime and stuff, like introduced me to other people that don't live here. Like told me he showed me that he like sent a picture of us to his mom and stuff, like saying he was so excited about me and whatever.
What made him do that? Curious, did you ask, or he just out of nowhere, he's like, I sent a picture of us to my mom?
It was basically like we had taken a picture, and then like she texted, so he sent it, and then she texted back, and then he was like laughing at the response, and he was like, haha, look, like I sent it to my mom and she said this.
Okay. So you asked him about...
So it was more like casual.
Yeah, okay. No big deal. So you asked him about Olivia. You're like, hey, what's up with Olivia? And he says...
And he goes, no, like, please, like, it's not even like that. Verbatim, that's what he said. Okay. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but
I'm not saying it's like anything.
Yeah.
So he's already in denial mode.
Yeah. And then he was like, I want you to know that, like, I'm not dating anyone else. Like, I'm not interested in dating anyone else. Like, I really just want to pursue you. And like, I'm not interested in like anyone else at the moment.
That's a positive response to that.
Right. So I was like, okay, like that, I mean, maybe it was a good thing that I saw that that girl texted, because it like prompted kind of like an exclusivity thing going on. So then the next week I go on vacation. I'm like out of town or whatever. And he's texting me all these like lovey-dovey things. Like, I haven't felt this way about a girl in so long, like whatever, just like the great things that a girl wants to hear. And I end up looking at my phone, and I get a notification on Instagram, and it's a DM request from a girl named Olivia.
Right.
And it says, I have some messages that I think you'd be interested in. And I was like, okay, like send away. Like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, just send it. She basically, like, long story short, between them, they had matched on Hinge like at the end of last year, and they've never met in person, according to like both of them in separate occasions telling me this. But they like just message all the time. So she sent me like a ton of screenshots between them, and most of it was just like him flirting with her, like kind of being gross, but like none of my business. I felt like weird reading those conversations.
Did you ask like, how did my name come up? Like, were you, you know?
I didn't, but she said that she basically was like doing this as payback, because she like had a falling out with him a couple of days before that. And I kind of assumed that she knew about me the way I knew about her, where like maybe he mentioned something to her.
Maybe, but like, if he's never met her, you know, like you saw a text on his phone, it kind of came up. You know, you kind of accidentally discovered Olivia. It's harder for her to accidentally discover you if they're talking virtually.
Not seeing each other.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. Okay, but maybe just she's a girl and she.
All right, so then then she sent you something.
Right. So one of the screenshots was from the day that he was at my house meeting my friends. So he had uploaded an Instagram story that day, and it was just like of my pool. Like it wasn't really with like anyone in it. And he tagged my town, which I live like in a suburb in South Florida where it's like a family town. There's nothing to do there, whatever. So she responded to that story being like, what the hell are you doing in Weston, which is the town? Like, I thought you were fun. Like, what are you doing? Like hooking up with a high school grad? And he responded basically like making fun of me for still living at home with my parents, even though I'm like getting my master's and it's whatever. And also basically just like degrading my body, like just talking shit about me, like straight
to her,
terrible
Olivia.
Things to Olivia. And then he was like, I am fun. Like, let's go get drinks then, like asking her out and stuff. Whatever. So this is the day that I saw him texting her. Yeah. Exactly. So after I saw like the way he spoke about me, it was already just like enough of a deal breaker to be like, don't ever talk to me again. So I texted him being like, your friend Olivia reached out to me. Like I saw texts between you guys that were just like hurtful and gross. So no bad blood, but you're not for me.
Okay.
And he like denied. He was like, what messages? Like I made it clear to her that I wasn't interested in anything more than just a friendship with her. Like, I'm not sure why you're upset. So I just sent the one screenshot that was about me. And then the rest of his messages are like fully gaslighting me, like being like, are you really going to end it over this? Like what we had was so special. Like, can you at least hear me out and like meet with me in person or like call me so that we can discuss this? Like, I feel like this is like a conversation that needs to be had, like not over text. And he was like, trust is very important to me. Like, how do you feel right now? And I just responded being like, I feel like I dodged a bullet. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, how? I'm going to fight for you, for us, whatever. I like never responded to any of that. Okay. We haven't spoken since. But like going out, and you know what? Like, I feel so lucky to have had that girl message me and stuff, because I would have been like fully dating this guy probably by now without even knowing that he was like this, you know?
Totally.
So it's kind of just like I feel lucky that it happened like this early on where like my emotions weren't super involved in it, because I was able to just like put my foot down and let it go immediately. But like if this happened a couple months down the road, I don't know if it would have been so easy for me. So like that is a huge problem in itself that I just like don't know how to handle. And then also like going back out into the dating scene right now and just like trusting guys after being like so bamboozled by this guy is like so hard.
Yeah. I mean, so where you're saying that you're worried that had you liked him even more, it would have changed how you handled it?
I think so. For example, I haven't spoken to him since. My sister, like literally last week was like, hey, can I like make a TikTok about this? Sure. It's really funny. And I don't care about him. So I was just like, sure. It accidentally went viral. And all the comments basically were girls being like, you're so lucky you like saw this side of him right away and that this girl messaged you, because I was in like a 3-year relationship with someone who is just as toxic and gaslighted me so badly. And it's so hard to get out of it once you're like super invested in it.
Yes. I mean,
so I don't know. Like, I think I would have reacted differently if I was like,
I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. It is harder. And in that sense, you are lucky to have found this out earlier. It doesn't really change in anything in terms of how you should handle a situation like this. Like the difference between, finding out now and finding out, say, in 6 months is it sounds like when you got this information, yeah, it probably hurt your feelings. Maybe you felt a little bit of an embarrassment, some confusion, all these things, but you seemed more or less okay. Like you kind of even felt, thank God I found this out now. I'm not emotionally invested in this guy. And I think this is a good lesson to learn in the sense that so often when we find these things out 3 years later, a year and a half later, yeah, the grieving process is hard because we feel more loss. But what we do is, and I was literally having this conversation with a friend last night going through a breakup, is the only difference between what you're going through now and fast forward is now you're not going to spend a shit ton of time in your head ruminating all these more or less useless thoughts that are just really about your ego trying to make yourself feel better because you feel silly, right? Like what you could or should have done differently. What about him should you have noticed? All these things, right? None of which changes how you actually should handle it and how you did handle it, right? Because sometimes it's a lot simpler than you realize. Like what you have the benefit now is clarity, right? Because you're not thinking about some of the useless things we think about in breakups is, well, we dated for 3 years. And then somehow, because you've dated for 3 years, people seem to be willing to give people a pass on doing shitty things or a year and a half. How much time you spent with someone really, I don't think should play too much in a role in it, you know? Like you should look at their actions as itself at face value. And so like, yeah, I wouldn't stress about like, well, what if I had known? I think in the future, just remember this moment. And while it's going to hurt a little bit more and it might be a little bit harder, like the clarity you have now about this situation is the same clarity you should have if this unfortunately happens to you in the future, like, which I can't promise you because yeah, like, listen, it's a shitty world out there in the dating scene, paralysis of choice. We have too many options. We're not policing ourselves. Men and women both do it. It's kind of a shitty situation. But it sounds like you're kind of in tune. Like it sounds like you have this ability to trust your gut and you got a little bit lucky with this information she sent you, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so don't waste a lot of energy worrying about the future or what you don't have. Be thankful that you have this kind of clarity that you have and just kind of remember what you felt. Remember like this, what he said to you in terms of, you know, I don't know everything he said to you that made you feel gaslighted, but it sounds like he was making you feel guilty for doubting his honesty, right? Generally, that's probably the generalization of it all. And you knew he was lying, you know, and you didn't let the things he said affect what you knew deep down to be true. And that's all that really matters. I think you hang on to that. And this is a good practice in trusting your gut. Because sometimes we have a hard time trusting our gut. Sometimes we like doubt ourselves. You know, we will listen to the bullshit. And the same clarity you have now should be the same clarity if this were to happen 4 or 5 months from now. As far as going back out there, you know, it's I can't make it. You just got to keep going out there. You didn't really. What did you lose here?
I didn't lose anything.
There you go.
The thing that's like hard now isn't even just like looking back and being like, oh my God, like that I am like so thankful that it happened so early on. But now that I'm like starting to date again, like let's say I go on a date with a guy or like a couple of dates with the same guy and like everything is like working out the way it is. I'm like, what if he's the same as that guy?
So
like,
there were
all guys like that?
There were no red flags when you go back, knowing what you know now. There was nothing.
No, he covered it up really well. Like I really thought he was just like a good guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
even like his friend reached out to me being like, I'm so sorry that happened.
Did you know about his dating history much when you were talking to him?
Yeah. He's a relationship guy. He like
That's
has had 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's had like 3 long relationships in his life, and like then he's been single for like a year and a half or something like that, and he's just been like out on the.
So when you look back and you think about the conversations you had with this guy, did it all sound really great? Did he ever, in the 2 months you talked, ever point out an insecurity he had, or a vulnerability he felt, or an omission about like, hey, listen, I just want to open up to you, and like, you know, I did this like a few years ago. I don't know. Like sometimes after 2 months, I don't know you. I got to assume that if we had like an honest conversation over the past, say, 7 years of your life, and you wanted to be vulnerable with me, you might say, hey, Nick, I did this shit once and I wasn't the best version of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like And I think those are important conversations to have in a dating situation. It's like in an interview where like you're like, all right, tell me about your best qualities. You're like, well, I'm on time and I'm a hard worker. And then you always get that question of like, well, what are some of your shortcomings? And that's a really important question in the interview process in terms of how someone handles that. Because the idea is no one's perfect. Everyone has weaknesses. And I just want to know someone who's like honest about what those weaknesses are so they can have a chance to addressing them. And I can even have a chance to coach them up if I'm their employer. It works the same way in relationships. And so if this guy you were dating just always said the fucking best things and talked about like, I'm a relationship guy. I love my mom. And, you know, and it all sounded great. What I'm not saying like you shouldn't believe, like there's a lot of great guys out there, but in 2 months, I would like to, you know, you should probably have learned something about him that was a little bit more vulnerable and learn something about him that maybe is a little, not necessarily like a flaw, like something that makes you go, something he's nervous to tell you. And you go, thanks for telling me. I feel like I know you better. And I know that you're just kind of a guy. And like, you know what? Like, listen, probably every guy you're going to be attracted to has been a douchebag before, you know? At some point. I'm not saying they are a douchebag, but they've been a douchebag, you know? And it's good to date someone at, you know, especially in your late 20s for a guy who's like, yeah, I did that shit. And that might be something for you to like pay attention to the next guys you meet, because you probably are used to dating a lot of guys or meeting a lot of guys who are good talkers, who are really good at like saying all the right things early on. It's all very convincing. It all sounds real nice, but find the guys who are also willing to like just be honest with you about some of the things that make them not so perfect.
Yeah.
If that maybe makes sense.
It does, but I think it's way easier said than done.
Well, sometimes to get people to do that is to talk about your own insecurities, and then that gets them to open up. And I will say this, if you know you're dating someone for a month and a half and something comes up, right? And you share something with them, I don't know what it is, right? And it doesn't have to be like anything crazy, just something. I'm sure there's something about you that you're only your closest friends now. And if they respond to that by either making you feel judged or just like, oh, well, thanks for sharing. I'm great. I'm a perfect person. That's a red flag. You know what I'm saying? Like a normal person who really likes you, who wants to connect with you, would have something to share as well. It's like a normal thing to do. If I were dating a girl and she opened up about something that she felt vulnerable about herself and was kind of nervous to tell me, I would want to talk about it, make her feel like, hey, thanks for letting me know. By the way, I have this thing about me. You know, that's like what people who really want to go down a path of getting to know each other, because you're kind of opening it up for someone to judge you. You're also like trust. It's a lot easier, but I trust you, you trust me, but you're trusting with them with a secret or something you'd only share to a friend. And that's a great way to see how they might respond. I hope that's helpful. I don't know.
Honestly, it is. It really is.
You're gonna be fine. I'm certain of that. And
Thanks.
Go out there, start dating, let this go. I think, and one more piece of advice is, don't hang on to this story. Let it go.
Yeah.
It's you felt a little silly. You probably feel embarrassed. Your ego's a little pissed off right now. Just let it go. And look forward to the next guy who's going to totally crush on you, and then practice, learning about him. I mean, have you ever in a first date just gotten real deep with someone? Get him to open up?
Just not him.
Okay. Well, you should feel good about knowing that now.
Yeah. That's very true.
All right.
Dang. That was much better advice than I would have ever anticipated.
Well, we're
no
here.
Offense.
We're here every week.
Not
every week. It's kind of a thing.
You should hear the truth bombs I was dropping to my friend last night. She was like, "I'm not ready for this."
I've been on the receiving end of your truth bombs, and it's enlightening.
Yeah. I was nervous to come on here because I was like, he's gonna psychoanalyze me.
You're fine. I mean, listen, I think what's great about this is that it's a very relatable as you realized, it's a scary world out there. People do lie. It's easy to get into your thoughts and insecurities, but I think there's something you can learn from this, and you can be a little bit more honest with yourself about how much you really knew him. Mm-hmm. So, all right.
Okay.
All right. Best of luck. How's it going?
Good. Hi, how are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Melissa, and I'm 34.
I'm Melissa, 34. How can I help?
So I wrote to you guys because I have a friends with benefits situation that I think is a little bit different than everybody else's, and I know everybody thinks that they're special, but I did want to write to you because mine, it does seem a little different, and I was kind of looking to see what your male perspective is on it. So I met this guy 3 years ago. We have been platonic friends up until earlier this year, and really platonic friends, like hanging out very often, nothing sexual, no kissing, no anything like that. But he's been a great friend to me. Like, he's fixed my bike, he's helped me build things, he's helped me fix things in my house. Just like a really good friend. And then we crossed over in January into like the friends with benefits realm, and he was very upfront and honest going in that it would never be more than friends with benefits. It was always going to just be that, and to never ask for anything else other than that.
Can you say why?
So he has never really given me a solid reason for that. He has like mental health issues, and I know that he's working on that. He's 42 and he's only had one girlfriend. I mean, I feel like that's probably important information to know. He just has, I know he has a lot going on, and I think that he can't compartmentalize like his work.
So you don't, you don't really know, but
I don't really know.
Okay.
No, I don't know. But
he didn't specify. You were left guessing.
I was,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. Exactly. Since then, like, I feel like we're dating. You know, we're going out. He's paying for everything. He's planning trips away. He's planning them all himself. He's, like, paying for everything. He wants to do things. And then recently, a couple weeks ago, he had offered to pay off my car loan, which I owe $14,000 still on my car, and he had offered to pay it off.
Out of nowhere?
And no,
See, that's the look I was waiting for.
Yeah, my car broke down a couple months ago, and I put a lot of money into repairs, and so I'm kind of like upside down on my car loan. So he had known that, but yeah, it was out of nowhere. Yeah, because it was after my car got fixed and I got it back.
So the only difference between you and your relationship with him and what you perceive to be like a regular relationship is the lack of definition and your confusion of his commitment?
I know he doesn't want a relationship. I just don't understand. He talks to me as if there is a future, right? Like, he wants to pay off my loan. He's making plans for us in the future. It's just so confusing that he would do that, and he doesn't want.
What do you want for yourself in life?
I mean, I do want a commitment. I do want to settle down and get married.
Have kids, family, all that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your general question is, like,
I guess
you do?
I know. I mean, I know that if if I want to get married, and if that feeling is more strong than like seeing him, then I need to move on. Like, I'm aware of that he probably will never change. I just don't understand. Like, I was curious, like, what your perspective is on the situation. Like, I don't understand why he is acting the way he is, because it really isn't just a friends with benefits, and it isn't just the sex, because I mean, this has been like a long-term thing way before that.
I mean, too much detail. You say mental health issues, like he just has really bad anxieties, a little bit of depression. Are we talking more like severe bipolar?
So he's told me that he has OCD, and it's not something that I've really seen. Like, it's not the stereotypical like super clean or like, but
so
he does,
but like people with OCD can have relationships.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's not like he's incapable or somehow this is debilitating. You don't notice this on a day-to-day basis or something that he's...
No, not at all. No.
When he offered to pay your car payment, what was your response?
My response was no. And I didn't really go into detail as to why. I was just like, it's just too much money and I just don't want it from you. And we've had the discussion a few times, but like for me, it's like if there's no commitment and there's no future, then I'm not taking that kind of money from him. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, listen, all you can really do at this point is put yourself out there and be willing to walk away and make your intentions clear, right? Friends with benefits or best friends who hang out, who are of the opposite sex. Friends with benefits has an expiration date, right? You're either gonna, it's either gonna end with him in a relationship or it's gonna end without him, but it is going to end. This situation you have now of you having sex with this friend while you're confused about your status it's going to end. So you just have to decide whether it's going to end on your terms or his. And your terms still might not mean you get what you want right now. And because ultimately what you would love right now is for him to say, I want to, start a future with you and settle down and see where this goes. But I want to really try and invite expectations in this relationship. Mm-hmm. But his terms would be like he just one day just ends out of nowhere, or you know what I'm saying. So I think what you need to do at this point is figure out how you want to approach this. End it on your terms. It's not going to nothing's going to change on its own. So put yourself. Just be like, hey, listen, just want to sit down. You've been very honest with me that you don't want to start a relationship. I get that. I'm not necessarily here to try to convince you to change your mind, but I also want to point out, this is what's been going on between us. The car, I really appreciate it. The trip planning, those are things that boyfriend and girlfriend do. And as much as I love spending time with you, it also just confuses the shit out of me. And I spend a lot of time being confused about us. And, you've been honest with your words and direct with your words, but you've been indirect with your actions. Right?
Yeah.
And so point that out. And just say, and don't ask, just say, I just think it's time. I need to walk away from this and I need to sit it down because I care about you, but I respect that you don't want to be in a relationship with me. And see what he says. Give it some time. I mean, ultimately you're kind of giving him an ultimatum, but you have to be willing to walk away. You can't just say this as a dare. And then when he doesn't give you the answer you want, you're like, just kidding. Let's hang out. You really have to be ready to end it. And if whatever his first answer is, especially if it's what you want, just be like, I just be very chill, be very confident in your decision. I love you. I want to be with you, but I also value what I want for myself more. And, I'm at the point in my life, I just don't want to keep being confused about the relationship we have. And I'd love it to be with you, but I totally get it if you don't want to be with me. But I'm getting to the point where I'm actually more confused about us than ever before.
Yeah.
And I think that's all you can really say.
Yeah.
But I think
I agree.
that will give you the best, because clearly he cares about you, right? I don't know why he doesn't want to be in a relationship with you or anything else. And maybe he doesn't know, who knows? But, give him a chance to make a decision. But you have to be able to walk away.
Yeah.
This is going to end.
I know.
This situation you have with him is 100% going to end. Just you have to decide whether it's going to be on your terms or not. You're going to be fine. I'm not saying it's all going to be awesome in the next week or so, but it's not going to be as bad or as scary as you feel or worry about right now. That much I'm sure of. And I don't think you appreciate just how confused you are right now and just how much energy you're spending on this guy and this relationship. And I don't think you appreciate probably how crappy it makes you feel sometimes. Those are crappy feelings you're feeling, and you could be wasting that energy somewhere else. So
plus a year from now, you could be in the same position and look at the time you lost trying to find somebody else that wants you more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you got to do.
Okay. I was expecting that.
you could be surprised. You never know. But
Yeah.
don't ask him again if he wants to date you. Don't beg.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going in there asking questions. You are going into this conversation telling him what you want for yourself. And what and you are quite honestly, like you've accepted that it's not with him. Whether that may or not be true, but you should tell him that. But you're not don't sit him down and be like rehash things you've rehashed and ask him what, don't ask him why he did this. To say you do this, it's confusing. I don't want to be confused anymore. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I want to walk away because you don't want to be with me, and that's okay. I'm not mad, but I need to let go. It might come around. You never know. But listen to his answers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want a girlfriend, but I do like spending time with you. Is not.
I know.
Then you got to walk away. I love you, but I just don't want to, babe. I just don't want, nope. Listen to his answers. Short of him being like, I want to try. I want to, you're going to have to be tough on yourself.
It is tough because I look at him as like someone who like embodies everything I want in a husband. Do you know what I mean? Like he is like, we definitely built that friendship first, and like we definitely built like we have like a solid foundation. He is my best friend. Like I don't want to leave him. It's tough.
I know, but he also kind of makes you feel shitty sometimes.
Yeah, he definitely makes me feel very confused. Like absolutely, that's like the best way to put it.
There is a reason he doesn't want to, and you need to figure out what that is. Like he thinks he's too old for you. I don't know. He has some. He's not. But like there is a reason. He doesn't feel the same way you feel about him. I don't know.
Yeah.
He'll show you with his actions. If he wants to be with you, he'll try to he won't want to lose you. But you have to be willing to leave.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hug
That's okay.
Melissa.
It's going to be fine. Whatever you decide, I can promise you that if you do what I'm telling you to do, in a year from now, you'll be better off.
Yeah.
I'm not promising you it'll be easy in the next few months, but if you stick to your guns, you'll be better off.
Yeah.
I promise you that. Because like Chrissy said, if you do nothing, there's a good chance a year from now, you'll be just as confused.
Yeah.
You might have a little bit more money because he paid off your car.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have him pay off your car first. Just kidding.
It's just fine.
No,
It's nice.
I would never do that. Yeah.
But the hard part is also like, I'm sure you have these feelings that like when someone's friends with benefits, you always get these overwhelming feelings like, why am I not enough to be more than that? And that's a mind game for yourself that you don't need to put yourself through. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's something that you're missing that you haven't been willing to look at in terms of why he's not.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is. Like, I really don't.
And he might not know either, but like you leaving and not giving him what he wants for free, so to speak, and letting him believe that you are prepared to take a risk, and there are other guys out there. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
And it's not, eventually if you're looking for it, you will find someone else. I'm certain of it. It might take some time. It's not going to happen when you want it to happen. But there's a lot of guys you're not even giving a chance to because you're so obsessed with this situation.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Let us know. You're going to be fine.
Will do.
You're going to be fine.
Okay.
You can do this. I promise.
I know.
You'll be happy you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How's it going?
Hi, good. My name is Jamie. I'm 24.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi. So recently I was dumped, and I feel like I need to give you a little bit of background. So,
Okay.
I met my ex when we were 19. I was 19. I was living in DC, and I actually moved into a house, and he was my housemate. So we lived together the whole time. Fast forward a year, my dad passed away, and he was very supportive. And then 3 months later, he got an offer to play on the U.S. Olympic handball team in Auburn, Alabama. Yeah, so he asked me to move with him, and I graduated college early. So I moved with him to Auburn. He was in his first semester at Maryland Law, decided to quit that. When we got down there, I was pretty depressed, and he supported me kind of through that, and I went to therapy, got through it. He was in a PhD program. He hated it, quit that. So we decided to open a business. We opened a cycling and yoga studio. Then we got into a lawsuit with our landlord, who was not a good guy. And we didn't have any money, so we had to go back to my home state of Kentucky. I quickly got a job. He was kind of dealing more with the lawsuit. So he was back and forth between Auburn and here. 6 months later, his dad got sick. When his dad got out of the hospital, like one day he just sprung it on me that he like wanted to go home to be with his dad. Obviously, I wanted him to be with his family, but he like didn't consult me at all about the decision. So I wasn't necessarily super happy about that. And he left. He decided to come back like a month later, and we were going to work through our issues, our communication issues. He came back for a day, told me he didn't want to be here, and then decided he wanted to go back to Kansas City and Columbus, Ohio, like interchangeably, and sell cars to make money. So I told him I didn't know like if our relationship was going to survive that. Like he was making these huge decisions and he wasn't consulting me about them at all. The last 6 months of the lawsuit were pretty terrible. At one point I found like messages he had sent to a girl. I confronted him about it. He said it was his friend. I believed him. And then we both decided we wanted to like move forward to go to grad school and law school at Northwestern in Chicago. Like a week before that happened, he said he didn't know if he could go. I told him if he didn't go, we were breaking up. He moved. And then we had a pretty normal year until like a week ago. We had a super normal day, like went to the dog park, took him to work. Then at 10:30 that night, we were watching basketball together, and he was just like, we need to talk. He started rambling for like 10 minutes, saying that he thinks our values are not the same anymore, and which kind of came out of nowhere beside the one fight we had about race issues. And I said, "Are you breaking up with me?" He said yes, cried for an hour, and then I left and went home. And now I'm in Kentucky. And this is what's happened.
Gotcha. So what's your specific question?
I would love to have any advice. Yeah, any advice on the breakup, and then how to get through it, and then how to have more open communication moving forward in my next relationship, because clearly he was not communicating with me.
Yeah, so my advice to you is, listen, he was in law school, then a PhD program, and then wanted to sell cars. In the middle, he also did like a yoga studio, then wanted to go back to law school, maybe?
He's in law school currently and is probably going to finish. I was looking for an apartment for us. The last 2 months, I found an apartment. He's actually going to move into it. So
yeah,
cool.
my guess is that, and this might sting a little bit, is that somewhere along the relationship, it just got real comfortable, and you became as much of a like assistant as you did a girlfriend. And you blurred and like, listen, a lot of people work with their partners and spouses, and they're able to have this like great relationship, but married couples do that sometimes. Like this, you were 19 and you guys are still young and figuring out life, and you probably enabled each other a little bit more than you realize, and you definitely probably had a ton of problems that you are, we don't have the time to dive into everything, but I'm guessing it sounds like you were sugarcoating some of it was all fine and this came out of nowhere. I'm not sensing it really came out of nowhere. I think if you look back, there are probably a lot of other problems, and you maybe in your gut felt like you felt distance, and then you threw it in this ultimatum that you mentioned. Well, if you go there, we're going to break up, and then he didn't, and then you said, well, then everything was basically fine for a year. I can assure you it wasn't. Nothing ever is when you give someone an ultimatum. So like he finally, truthfully, just got the courage to break up with you, and my guess is he had been thinking about it off and on for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that might sting a little bit.
That's okay. Totally true.
I only say that directly because my guess is you spent a lot of time and energy replaying this relationship over and over and over and over and over in your head. And it sounds like, you gave a very thorough description in a short period of time about your relationship. And so you can do that because you've thought about this all the time and maybe thinking about things you could have done differently or said differently or what he did wrong, what he could have done better, things he said to you that, don't add up. None of that really matters. He wanted to break up. And so I think at this point in the breakup, you're best served by accepting the fact that it's over and it's going to be hard, but you should try to wish him well in life in your mind, law school, whatever you felt like you probably did, or, in terms of like, well, I was there for him and he wouldn't be there if it weren't for me, and et cetera, et cetera. You were a willing participant in this relationship with no guarantees that, that you guys were going to end up together. And I'm sure a lot of things were said over the years about promises and expectations of each other. And that's just life, but we have a habit of holding on to the like, well, you told me that we were going to do this, and now you're feelings change and people change. And you probably at times made it very difficult for him to be as honest as he wanted to be. And the combination, if he probably wasn't brave enough just to be direct, so he was passive aggressive and sometimes doing things, and was also scared of being alone. All these things. We do this to each other. And so I think you're at the point of accepting what this is and saying goodbye to a few years of your life and a lot of expectations you had, and that's sad, and accepting that you just have to let it go.
The only thing is I have to go back to Chicago tomorrow for a week to like pack all my stuff up from our apartment. And I asked him to leave, but I'm not sure he will. So.
Do you even have to? Is there a way for him to ship these things? Do you really have to go?
I mean, it's like all of my furniture. So I need to, we're taking a U-Haul down. My mom's going with me. So that will
Well, that's good. Yeah. I mean, listen, he should respect the fact, make it very clear you don't want him there.
Yeah.
Don't ask him, tell him, just really, it's nothing, but it's time to be cold a little bit with him and to yourself when you like go down these thoughts of missing him and wanting to reach out, or like, well, I should wish him a happy birthday. It's a nice thing to do. You're not being nice. You're just finding an in, so you really got to cut yourself out. And then going forward, this relationship will be unique for yourself because it was like a first love situation. I wouldn't worry too much about having to replicate. This is going to be unique, but in terms of communicating going forward, look for the signs. Don't get ahead of yourself too much. Don't play house. Like, again, big reason probably why you didn't see a lot of the signs that maybe this relationship was ending sooner than you realize is that you were kind of two-pot committed. You were going through things together.
Yeah.
You were kind of acting like a married couple without being married. Like, and the reason, like a lot of married couples should, it's like, hey, listen, we're going to get through our good and bad years. We're married.
Right.
So we're not just going to quit. But you were acting like that. And I guess there's a positiveness to that you have that mindset and the ability to get through difficult times. But you were probably not even being objective in, are we really meant to be together, or have I just decided this is the fight I'm a part of? You know, value your independence right now, I guess, is the big thing for you. You were a little codependent with this guy.
Yeah, probably.
So, you know, starting a business does not mean you're in love.
True.
But you probably felt like that when you did. Is why I say that. It's like, we're starting a business together and we're in love.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was in love until last week. I mean, I still am in love, obviously, but...
Yeah, but you should stop telling yourself that. He obviously
was not.
You should stop telling yourself that.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, the whole practice of like, make that list of things he made you feel about yourself that might not have been positive. What did you love about it?
Writing this out, writing like our relationship out actually did help a lot, because I could see like all these times where I was like not consulted or respected enough to be consulted, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. How did he make you feel about how you guys communicated? Is a really good practice.
Like, right. Insecure.
Yeah. So the person you said you're in love with made you feel insecure. Not super awesome. You know, probably not something that would be on your list of things you're looking for in a relationship.
Definitely not.
It would probably be easier to think of more of those things than it would to be, when was the last time he made you feel good, safe, comfortable, not confused?
Right.
So I don't think it came out of nowhere, and I don't think you just got comfortable with telling yourself this is the person I'm in love with, as opposed to really analyzing what you loved about the relationship.
How do you let go of like the resentment, in the sense that
it takes time?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
You just forgive him.
Yeah.
Bless it and
That's
release
gonna be
it.
hard.
Yeah, listen, he's not a bad guy. You definitely did love him. You had some great years. You had some great life experiences with him. It's raw right now. He's not your guy. It's going to take some time, but don't spend a lot of energy being like, oh, he fucking said this and did this. You got to let those thoughts go. Be glad he's graduating from law school. You're not missing out. You know, there's a lot of lawyers out there if that's what you're looking for, you know, like.
I mean, I didn't get to take half his money, so that's depressing.
Yeah. Well, let go of that, you know, let go of those thoughts. I mean, honestly, it's something sometimes as simple as like wishing him well and wanting the best for him. You might not believe it right now, but it does come with time, but like, you got to let it go. It's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to bring you together. It's not going to play an impact on how well or how happy. Like, the only thing that's going to make you feel better about how you, like they said, like, best revenge is living well. That's true. Like, your actions matter. What you do going forward, your ability to date. Nothing he does right now really matters anymore to you. So you can think about it. It's not going to get you anywhere.
But also do things that you guys did together by yourself, and like turn it into something different. That really helped me. I started doing things by myself that I used to do with somebody together, and it just made it more empowering for myself.
Yeah. That way, when you do it, you're not like, well, we used to do this together.
And it's like the memories replaced with how like you were strong and you did it by yourself, and you didn't need that person around to do it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm about to graduate in 4 weeks. So I've decided to move back to DC, where I was happiest.
Dude, DC rocks.
And just, do what I want.
I think it's an important time for you to take some time, maybe not jump back into dating, focus on, be a little selfish right now. And when you have these thoughts of resentment and anger, just acknowledge them and don't go down that path. Like, you know, stop talking to your friends. Like, stop talking to your friends and bitch about him, and have them be like, yeah, he fucking sucks. You know, like, that's not going to do you any good. Like, that's their job. He probably, you know, and he doesn't. He's just a guy, you know, and I'm sure he said things that hurt your feelings. You know, you're a little hurt, but it doesn't do you any good making him out to be a monster in your mind and have your friends all think he sucks. It's just let it.
Yeah.
Bless it and release it.
Okay.
All right.
That's what I'll try to do. Yeah.
You can do it. It's a little raw right now. It's okay to say you're hurt. Right?
I definitely am. Yeah.
Don't pretend that you're not. you know, and don't try to sugarcoat it. Sometimes we like to dismiss our hurt by being like, I mean, I'm hurt, but like, I'm going to be a better person from this. And like, okay, great, maybe, but like, let's just, you know,
Move through it.
get through it, acknowledge it. And so that you just don't mask it with other things, you know? So that way
I'm definitely sad.
yeah. But acknowledge that sadness and then focus on what you can do as opposed to harness it by being like, I'm mad at him. You know, just, you got to, you know, just be careful where you let your thoughts go.
I will try to do that. Easier said than done, but I will try.
But it's possible. And you're going to catch yourself, but like find those things. You know, think about things that you did wrong. You know, focus maybe in your energy about times that maybe you weren't listening or you weren't listening to yourself. You weren't listening to your gut, or things where maybe you look back and it felt not great, but you just ignored it. You know, think about those things. Those are the things you can learn from. You can control that. There's lots that you can learn about yourself going forward. Again, his actions right now aren't going to help you at all. But, you know, processing the things he said that he didn't follow through with aren't going to really do anything for you. But you can do a lot through evaluating what you might have done differently and help you in the future.
I will do that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Jeannie.
You're going to be fine.
Thanks. I hope.
I know. You will. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. Wow. Thank you to our callers.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Just remember, in these early dating situations, it's get into the weeds a little bit. Pay attention to their answers. Sometimes when it sounds all so nice.
Yeah, I wrote that one down.
It's not.
Listen to the answers. I wrote that down.
Listen to the answers.
It was good advice.
Yeah.
You can tell a lot by what somebody says, how they react.
But listen to the answers. We don't listen to the answers often.
No.
At all.
No, it's a good one.
Yeah. So do that.
Do that. Listen to the answers.
Who do we have on Wednesday?
We have Garcelle.
Oh, God, you're going to want to check that out.
It's so good.
A wonderful actress. I don't know what
She's done everything. Actress, reality TV.
She's been on
model.
it all. She fun to we just talk about sex with her.
So much sex.
I'm just going to put it out there.
Brilliant.
It was great.
A lot of people know her from Real Housewives these days.
Anyways, it's fun. It's sexual. It's hot.
It's
steamy.
hot.
She was a delight to talk to. Tune in. And
if you're in the car with kids, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe with the kids. I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe not have the kids in the car all the time.
But yeah, and just remember, there is no GOAT episode, no Bachelor recap tomorrow. So if you're looking for something to do, why don't you go ahead and entertain yourself with Nick V Talks Trash TV and listen to me and my exes just really get into it. You'll have so much fun. I promise. I love you. Thanks for supporting.